4th be with you for this really fun YouTube and Instagram hop that we are doing today to celebrate everything Star Wars. We are definitely a Star Wars family here, especially my oldest son. He absolutely loves it. And so we definitely have some pictures. And when we go to the Calgary Expo, which unfortunately, this is the second year we haven't had one because of COVID, but in all previous years, we definitely love to go and hang out with the Star Wars cosplay. They have a whole big section that they set up, and you can get pictures taken, and they raise money for different local children's charities and things like that. So it's just a ton of fun. So that's the pictures that I have today. And then I found just a couple of other ones just from being on the grounds and finding people in cosplay. I think 2 of them are a statue from one of the stands, and one is a cosplay from somebody just from the public who was there. And so I'm going to throw those in too and actually turn this into a 2-page spread. We've been going to the expo for so many years that every time we go, I try not to take the exact same pictures. And so sometimes there's more Star Wars, sometimes there's more of something else. It really kind of depends on what's happening that year and what kind of the trendy cosplay is. I try to take the most pictures of those. So definitely there were way more people who were cosplaying Star Wars. I just didn't take a picture of every single person because I don't even remember what the kind of more trendy thing was in this particular year. But I try to mix it up a little bit so I don't just have the exact same photos every year repeating themselves. So I'm starting off with some white cardstock, and I wanted to do a little bit of mixed media. I haven't been doing it as much recently, and so I just wanted to have something in the background. And I thought it would be kind of fun to do these little drips because that line kind of reminds me of a lightsaber a little bit. So I thought that would be kind of fun, and I just picked some blue and some red, kind of those classic lightsaber colors. And while those are drying, I also splattered all over. I added a little bit of pink and a little bit of purple and a little bit of black, just kind of to have that sort of galaxy feel to it. You really can't tell unless you're looking up close, but I just kind of wanted to give it a bit of a galactic feel. So while those are drying, I'm going to go ahead and work on my layers and the pattern papers that I've chosen. So I, of course, jumped right into my Wild Whisper stuff because they released a collection last year. Maybe it was 2 years ago, actually, called Fandom. And so as you can see here, this is a piece from it. This was a 12 by 12 piece of paper that I actually cut down, and I made a little mini album from our 2018 Comic Expo pictures. And so these are some of the leftovers, and this paper is all lightsabers, so that was perfect. I'm glad I have a couple pieces of it left over. So I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut 4 lightsabers, 2 blue and 2 red. And then I had that larger kind of dark black and gray piece of paper that comes from the Masculine Collection. And I'm going to kind of make that a shelf, I guess you could say, that runs across both pieces. And then I also have did I show it? I might have already shown it. Some red paper, just again, little pieces that I have left over from the mini album. Those are going to kind of be little layers, but they have stars on them. So I thought that worked out really good. And I'll keep going as I put it all together, because now I don't remember what other papers I might have shown there. But my backgrounds are completely dry, so I'm going to cut them down a little bit, and I'm actually going to put them on some black paper. I kind of wanted to bring in the dark side a little bit. So I've got some white and I've got some black, and I'm just going to put those 2 black pieces together and kind of fix my white background to them. I just cut off, I didn't really measure it exactly. I just kind of use the edge of where the measurements go on my trimmer, but it's probably about 1/4 of an inch on 2 sides, but I'm offsetting them. So I want the white papers to actually touch in the center. So they're going to have the same border on top and bottom and just a little bit wider of a black border on the right side and then on the left side. And then they'll touch in the center, so kind of connecting the two of them. And I knew that I was going to cover up that middle section, so I wasn't too worried about how it kind of looked as I was making my drips. And they're kind of splotchy, and that middle section is a little bit dark and the colors mixed. I wasn't too worried about that, because as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and cover it up. So here's that piece of paper from Masculine, and then that the books right there is the backside of that star paper. So as you can see, that Fandom Collection from Wild Whisper is just a whole bunch of different fandoms. So there is Star Wars, Stranger Things, Doctor Who, which is my favorite fandom, Harry Potter, and then just some kind of general things. So, and I'm probably missing some too. Lord of the Rings is in there. Yeah, I know I'm definitely missing some, but the backs, or like the B-sides of a lot of the papers, have just really kind of generic geeky things like stars and books and things like that. So here are those 3 pictures that I was talking about. The 2 with Darth Vader, I think he's like a lifelike statue that was at one of the setups, one of the booths, and then that is Chewbacca. And my 2 guys dressed up as Spider-Man and Batman. And I think actually on a different day, they might have dressed up as Batman, and I think Francis dressed up as Kylo Ren. So, yep, he's definitely the Star Wars fan. So for the black paper and then that red paper, I'm going to kind of mirror where they are, so one on each side. And then here are my photos from the actual cosplay booth. So these are ones that you donate money to actually have taken, so someone takes them for you, and you can see that everything's all set up. And basically there's different times, so depending on when you want to go, you just look at the schedule and it will tell you which characters are going to be there. So if you have a particular favorite, you can make sure to be there for their kind of scheduled time. But it grows every year, so there's always a ton of stormtroopers, and then every year they seem to be adding more and more cosplayers who are different characters. So it's really cool. And obviously now with The Mandalorian, I mean, we haven't been able to have an expo because of COVID, but with The Mandalorian, I'm sure it will kind of expand into that too. So the next time we actually are able to get there, I have a feeling Fox's mind is going to be blown, because he'll be so excited. That little piece of paper, or that little square that I put down there, says the Force is strong with that one. And it is from the cut apart sheet that's in that Fandom Collection. And then here I'm just adding some of the manufacturer strips just to give a little bit of interest and some different patterns. This one isn't actually from Fandom. It's from Wild Child. I am a hoarder of manufacturer strips from Wild Whisper, and I remember where each one comes from. Like I love them so much, and they are definitely a favorite tool or a favorite product of mine when it comes to scrapbooking with Wild Whisper. I make so many layouts using the manufacturer strips as kind of like a starring role, because I just think they're so fantastic. So those 2 that I put on the bottom, the stars and the lightsabers, come from Fandom. And then here are my lightsabers. I'm going to go ahead and put them on both sides by that red. They were so easy to fussy cut. Like you could, if you really loved Star Wars and you really wanted to have a whole bunch of these as embellishments, they are super easy and quick to fussy cut. You could actually cut out a ton of them. And I think on that side there on the table right beside me, you can see that one strip of paper. I think that's my last strip that actually has full lightsabers left over. The piece that I used that I cut these out of, I cut the only ones that were kind of full lightsabers. So I could probably cut a couple of them that are most of the lightsaber, but they're missing the tip or they're missing the handle. But yeah, I completely used that paper up. And this piece of paper here is from Wild Child, and I just felt like I wanted to bring some more color and a little bit of pattern, and stars obviously are a really good shape to go with a Star Wars themed layout. So I'm just going to cut 2 strips of it. I didn't necessarily want to introduce the green that you see down at the bottom. It kind of has that ombre from a dark blue into a green. I didn't really want to introduce that as a new color, but the stars are the same color as the lightsaber, and so they're not like a true blue, they're more of a teal, and so I really wanted to have that in there to kind of tie it all together. And then for some quick embellishments, I'm going to use these Freckle Fawn little kind of enamel shape, enamel star shapes. They have a silver outline to them and then just a bit of an off-white center. They almost look like they would glow in the dark. And I did remind myself at one point to go and check if they actually do. They just have that kind of luminescence to them in the center that reminds me of glow in the dark stuff. So I don't think they actually do, but it would be kind of cool if they did. So I just thought that they were kind of a fun little extra embellishment, and again they're the stars, and then some super cool sequins. I love these sequins. They are from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and my amazing friend Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life sent them to me, and they're black and white and then those big silver circles that kind of remind me of the Death Star or just, some planet. So I thought those worked out perfect. And because I'm not the most creative when it comes to titles sometimes, I'm just going to go ahead and call this one May the Force Be With You. So I'm using some black little kind of puffy glittery stickers that I got from Walmart, and that's going to be May the Be With, so those like secondary words, and then I'm highlighting Force and You. So Force is using red, and those are actually basic gray. I have no idea where I got them from, but I really like those stickers. They're really nice and thick, so they come off of the backing really nice, and they just stick really well. And then the word You is in that kind of light blue or teal, and those are from Simple Stories. So the title is on the right-hand side, and then on the left-hand side, I just did some quick journaling. Again, this is part of a whole series of layouts, so I don't really have to do a ton of journaling, but I just wanted to write down that, especially for these pictures here, that they are something that we love to do every year, and it's kind of become a bit of a tradition that we always go. We have some money ready so that we can donate and get our picture taken in the Star Wars cosplay booth. So that's what my journaling says. And then I finished everything off with a sprinkle of the Heidi Swap Color Shine in Tinsel for a little silvery sparkle. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please check out all the links down below to see who is playing along today as well. Show them some love and subscribe to everybody. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.